YouTube, I'm Pamela. I am a multidimensional channel primarily for the Galactic Council of Nine, who are a group of 9 particular soul families that teach universal laws. And we start with the 7 laws, but particularly the universal law of one and all the laws that are embodied therein that help this universe function safely and lovingly and in oneness. So within the Galactic Council of Nine, I'm going to be channeling a being this upcoming Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'll link it below. Her name is Kitara. She is an ambassador of that council, and she has been speaking to me since age 5. And through me, as me, whatever you want to call it, fractal of higher self, all of that is true. So today I wanted to talk to you with a message from Kitara and the Galactic Council of Nine about many things that people are pondering, particularly right now in the shift that's going on. One of the things that many of you say to me as a channel when you sit with me is, what is the meaning of life? Why am I even here? What's the meaning for being here, especially right now? The second thing you say to me is, how do I find my life purpose? How do I find my purpose in all of this? So today I wanted to talk to you about the difference between the meaning of life and the actual purpose of your unique creative experience in life, because they are 2 different things that are often really confused. So the meaning of life, from the universal law of one, there is one meaning, and it is love. The end. That is the meaning of life. That is, what life is about. It is about love. And in what way? I'm sure you've heard this said from me and many Christ conscious channels in many sacred texts all over this earth, that there is a meaning, that everything is love, and that in terms of what you see in the world, in relation to finding love in that, in your environment, everything is either love, or if you can't see it as love, it is a call to love or for love. So what does that mean? If everything, the meaning of life is love, and everything's love or a call for love, this means that if you can't forgive something and accept something and go through life in terms of integrating something as love, that it needs more of your love, or you need more of your love. So notice I said or, this or that, meaning if you can't love something, love yourself until you can. So there's a lot of things within that it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean bypass your nature when you're hurting. It doesn't mean let people roll out the carpet and get hurt by people. That is something that's been going on in galactic history for a long time, which is why the Galactic Council is speaking to me in this upcoming class on Wednesday. And they spoke to me once before a couple of weeks ago as well on my Patreon channel for another very long channel if you're interested in that. But the reason why they talked to me about this is because there have been many things happening on your planet in relation to various archetypes. Now, this is also something that I'm going to be talking about very deeply in my Dolores Cannon channeling. So you're going to be getting some information today about that. So there are various archetypes of beings that have been here on this planet, not since your planet isn't 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 years old, like your scientists and evolutionists have tried to teach you, and rather tried to program you. What's true on this planet is love and a call to love, and then something happened, and that something happened was a grand division, and that division has been occurring since then. That was not thousands of years ago. That was not millions of years ago. That was billions of years ago. And then we've been trying to undo that. There's been this great undoing that the Council of Nine has been trying to help us with since then on this planet. And I've been embodied again and again and again and again as a being who likes to help make sure that we return to our original missions. So we're going to be talking about all those missions today. We're going to be talking about meaning of life versus purpose. And we're going to be talking about all this in more depth and answering your questions on my channeling this Wednesday. I'll link it below. It's at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, and it's going to be an interview style channeling with all this information that they've been giving me that I'm ready to share. It's very detailed, and then I'm going to answer your questions about this and your questions you have about what's going on. in this current shift on this planet right now. What does ascension mean now? Everything seems to be really different and new, right? Are you guys feeling that we're pioneering something incredible? I know I am. And these are the messages that I'm getting today. We are pioneering something. So again, meaning of life. It is simple. Don't let your brain try to make it harder. The meaning of life is love. Is been, has always been, will always be. And everything that you see in your environment either is love, meaning you already feel loving about it, or it's a call for more love. I'm going to go through how to do that in a minute, but that has to do with forgiveness and acceptance and integration of yourself. Now, creative purpose in life. There's a difference between the oneness meaning of life and the creative purpose in your unique embodied experience. So in creativity, that means a dualistic-based environment with sovereignty. We call this universal law of chaos. You call it free will or sovereignty. In sovereignty, life purpose, okay, here it is. Your purpose is as simple as this: to be helpful. That is why you, the volunteers on this planet, are here. Many people who follow my work are what Dolores called in our soul group, the volunteers. If you want to learn more about that, you can join my channeling of her on May the 20th, but we're getting real low. We're under 50 seats left, and I have no idea if it's going to sell out or not. At this rate, it might. It really, really might. So I'll link that up below as well. So we're going to be talking about the 3 waves of volunteers, 3 waves of ascension, and these 7 different archetypes and how they relate to ascension and why ascension is different now and what the volunteer's role is now versus just at the same time, how it has shifted from the time she wrote the book when she was embodied and now. So there's just a lot coming out that I can't wait to bring about to you. So meaning in oneness, in the universal law of oneness, okay? The meaning of life is love. Everything is love or a call for more love, okay? Purpose in creativity, in your body, is to be helpful. How, you're going to ask me, how do I be helpful? Especially right now. Let me tell you how I used to be helpful versus what you're doing right now in being helpful, which is shifting about your creative purpose of volunteers on this planet. It's incredible. You used to be here to be helpful in one of 2 constructs. One of these constructs is called service to self. One of these constructs is called service to others. We're going to be discussing that on Wednesday in my channeling of Katara and the Galactic Council. So service to self, self-love in every degree that's possible. Service to others, complete giving and loving of other people. Here's how that went wrong. You've had a lot of intervention that wasn't necessarily helpful in a certain way if you look at pain and suffering caused thereby, and in another way it was helpful because it got you to love yourselves and go towards service to self in an actual positive helpful way for you. Unfortunately, the concept of being helpful in just one of these 2 constructs is no longer working in this new wave of ascension with that we call the shift happening now on this planet in 2020. So what's happening now in ascension, realization, enlightenment, spiritual awakening, whatever it is you call it, whatever your word is for that, is that we are no longer choosing between service to self and service to others. This is why Dolores Cannon and Katara both have been uttering this same word for years now. She said in 2020, you are the pioneers. You are the pioneers of a new wave of ascension. What does that mean? Service to self and service to others, us and them. Have you noticed that my teachings lately on YouTube have a particular slant towards them of that concept, us and them, where when I talk about truth and I remind you that actually there's not a lot of truth on this planet except love. Therefore, we have to find love and we have to find compromise and we have to work together as local communities and spiritual societies in this world. We're worried so much about the other side of the world and what's happening in China and what's happening with our president, and what are we forgetting? Ourselves, service to self. We're serving others so much that we're forgetting this. And then sometimes we get selfish and push everybody away and go, oh my gosh, I just don't want to see any more of this stuff in the world. It's so frustrating and I'm done with it. I'm completely serving myself. Everybody else can go away. And then you shut everybody out. That's complete service to self. So it's confusing, I understand, but there is a way to incorporate this us and them without things becoming overly complicated. All right? So again, what's new about this ascension is that for the first time since I've been here on this planet, and I've been here for, again, billions of years, coming back into a body and back into a body, gathering more information, recording more information, sending more information up to the heavens all the time, and then coming back again. I love to reincarnate here. It's one of my favorite places. So what I do is I try to help you pioneer this new way to be hopeful that involves unity of everyone. So back to original oneness laws, back to unity. This is what we're learning now in 2020 is unity. And how do we express it? The words they all use on the council is the word connection. Unity is expressed through connection, not denial, not bypassing, not saying it's their way or my way. It's finding a their way and my way in everything. This means political constructs are going religious stuff, well, everybody understands that we all choose to really be sacred within ourselves in a unique way. And we are learning that it's just not quite as important anymore as we thought that it used to be, right? So yogis are becoming shamans. Shamans are becoming yogis. People are joining churches. People are leaving churches. This is happening everywhere. This is nothing new because you've been seeing it going on for the past 20 years. And now it's finally coming to an ultimate time out in the entire human conscious collective so that we can have some time in here before we go back in time out there. Okay, so let's talk about that. The 7 archetypes as listed by both Dolores Cannon and the Ambassador Katara of the Galactic Council of 9. In wave 1, and when I say this wave 1, there are 3 waves of ascension, according to Dolores Cannon, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3. Wave 1 is called the builders, okay, original building blocks of this planet. You also call them the ancients. Wave 2 is called the planters and seeders. Excuse me, they're still in wave 1, but they're the planters and seeders. That is the 2nd archetype. The 3rd archetype is called the recorders and or researchers. Recorders and researchers, okay? They come in wave 1 or wave 2 of ascension. The containers, okay, healers of the planet who contain all energies and hold them safely. Containers, you are in wave 2 primarily. The seekers and the finders. You know, those who seek will definitely find. So the seekers and the finders, you are coming in through the 5th archetype and you are in wave 2 and wave 3. You typically choose one or the other and some of you choose both. So 2 and 3 I've seen in the seekers and the finders. In the 6th archetype of beings on this planet that have always been here are the keepers. And you guys, you're in any wave. I'm in that one, by the way. Any of them. You can be in any and all, and you often choose all so that you can remain unbiased. And then finally, the 7th archetype of original being on this planet is called the guardians. And you are first wavers. Okay? So let's talk about the missions. These are missions by groups of people. Okay, so these ultimate missions. Builders, you are the transducers of society. Planters and seeders, you are the catalyst of this society. Recorders and researchers, you are the activators in this society. Containers of all that is, you keep everything all nice and compact and make it make sense. You are the transmuters, the integrators. You love inner child work and processing, and I love you. Shamans, you're there too. Seekers and finders, you are the reflectors in this society. You put a mirror back up to people, and whether they like it or not, you just simply, and it's not something you're trying to do. You just are naturally that way, and we're either going to like it or we're not, but depending upon where we are, we get a mirror of ourselves, of what we need to learn, of what we've already learned, of where we are, and our unique construct of ascension and spiritual meaning for ourselves. Keepers. You are the transmitters of light and sound. You are transmitters. You're like a radio tower, just transmitting energy, just sending it out. That's me. Guardians, you are restorers and resonators of the signal of the transmitters. For some of you, this might be making sense now. So what do you restore? You restore true meaning of life and true purpose of love and unity on this planet. What's the resonation? What are you resonating? It's the sound and light from the transmitters. Okay. So everybody works together. Now there are 7 life purposes. We call these emotional technologies, is what the Council of 9 calls them. So the true technologies on this planet are in your hearts. We're here to master the heart. So all the little things that we try to do that's outside of that ends up feeling futile and empty because we're ignoring this. So the true technologies on this planet and the true purposes on this planet are missions that involve emotions. So let me tell you these 7 purposes on this planet in relation to the 7 archetypes. Builders, your purpose is forgiveness. There's a lot of things that you built on this planet starting a long time ago. Things went a pretty harsh way. You had a lot of power taken from you, or at least you thought that you did, because power can't be gone. You basically gave it away because you didn't know any better. So builders, when all the different galactic energies of the Anunnaki and the split of the Anunnaki and all of that occurred, you need to forgive that. You're still here because you haven't forgiven that, okay? Planters and seeders, you planted and seeded this entire, my goodness, we were just a nitrogen dust bowl, billions of years ago, just a planet of volcanoes spewing stuff everywhere, not much here. We needed oxygen, and you helped do that. You're the original alchemists of this planet. So you helped bring in oxygen, and then you planted and seeded. Literally, what did you do? You created oxygen, then you started creating elements. You created all the elements of water, air, earth, fire, all of that, okay? And then you began to take what you seeded, and then you planted things, plants actually. You created plants. From that point on, the seeds that you were taking from all of the other galaxies in our star system and all of the other stars and star systems in this universe, and some others, or some rare beings that are from other universes, although it's few and far between, you took those seeds, genetically speaking, and you planted them into bodies here, creating from the elements and from the plants actual bodies. And there were various modes of evolutionary processes. So what you hear about in science, that's just one mode. So we're going to be talking about this again in my Kitara channeling of the Galactic Council of 9 on Wednesday at 1 p.m. I will link it below. So again, builders, you're here to forgive. Planters and seeders, you're here to accept. What does that mean? Surrender. Okay? You need to surrender to you, to your own power, not to anybody else's. And you need to accept what happens fully so that you can understand how to move on and how you can work with the next archetype of beings that are here. And they are the 3rd archetype, the recorders and researchers. Dolores Cannon was within that ancient archetype and still is. She's getting a lot more interest in the guardians lately, though. That's interesting to me. So something might be shifting there according to her, and we'll keep talking to her about that. So the recorders and researchers, again, you're here to activate everyone, and you're also here to record and research information to see what is working and what isn't. You realized a lot of things that were working and a lot of things that weren't. You're here for allowance of that information to actually build and to learn to trust, especially after this planet went in so many various directions. Containers, okay? You are the 4th archetype of ancient beings on this planet originally and still here today. You are here for flow of what? Of light and sound. You are here to contain the essence of isness. You are the I am. You are isness. You help with the is of everything, the I am of everything. You are light. Seekers and finders, you are here for compassion and love. Okay, love and all the variations of love, all the distortions of love, compassion being the primary one right now. That shifts every 20 years. Compassion is your unique variety of love this time. Keepers, wave 6, coming in through archetype 6 rather. Celebration, what does that mean? Celebration, you're here for play and joy and bliss. Guardians, you are here for the ultimate technology, which is grace. And you need to guard all these other archetypes so that grace can actually be an efficient technology that works on this planet. So that's what you're here for. I hope that you accepted all of that information. I hope that purpose makes a lot more sense now. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, but in a planet that is really a big, huge galactic experiment that we're trying to formulate oneness within, it can seem complicated. So that's my easiest way of making it simple for you. And we're going to break it down even further from that, both in my Dolores Cannon channeling, but primarily in the channeling of Kitara from the Council of 9 this upcoming Wednesday at 1 p.m., which I will link below. Have a good day. I hope you're having a really good weekend. My kids are having a blast. They're playing with a slip and slide outside. They're also swimming in pools. My roommate's kids, I think she took them hiking, the teenagers, along with her mom. And then they're going to come back and we're going to have some lunch. So we're having a blast. I hope you are too. Keep it safe, keep it simple, keep it loving. See you later, YouTube.